If you're in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should probably reconsider your life choices. This is probably something you've heard on the internet with the 1,000,001 20-something gurus out there giving you business advice.
If you're a guy in your 20s and you don't have a Lamborghini, you should actually sit down and have like a serious discussion with yourself as to why you don't have a Lambo.
Yep. Now, I've been doing business and running my own businesses for 7 years now. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the horrible business advice that you should ignore that's preventing you from seeing success in your business. Number one is not retaining earnings. This is something I see so much on places like Twitter, places on finance YouTube and entrepreneur YouTube, where they're like, you should be targeting a monthly income goal. If you're not making this much per month or this much per month, you should feel bad about yourself. The reality is if you're measuring your income off of monthly, you should probably just go into sales as opposed to running a business, because when you're starting a business from scratch, especially with no funding and you're doing what's called bootstrapping, you're gonna need to retain your earnings, which means you need to leave some of that profit back in the business and not pay yourself so much. So when you see these people out here buying Lamborghinis and they're in their early 20s, getting things like the Rolexes, the Lamborghinis, living this lifestyle, you can safely assume that they're not retaining their earnings, which is fine if you want to build a lifestyle business and taking all the profit as income. But when you do that, you're actually hurting the business because you need the cash for growth, right? And also, if you're gonna build a team and have employees, it'd be nice for you to give them something to look forward to too, so they have potential and opportunity to grow within your company, as opposed to just ripping out all the profit every single month, because that's eventually gonna cap you for growth. And you're gonna own a really, really high paying job, which at the end of the day, it's a lot better than a lot of jobs, but you can never sell it. You can never build any leverage in it. So again, you're gonna be kind of stuck in a hamster wheel of having to work in the business and not on the business. So again, bootstrapping a business, make sure you're retaining earnings as opposed to not retaining your earnings and just siphoning all the cash out of the business for yourself. We had to learn this lesson really hard when we first started our consulting company, Home Service Academy. There was months we were making $60,000, $70,000 a month, and we were taking all the profit for ourselves. And we just thought because we were in info and we're selling information, that's fine, and it's gonna be like that forever. Well, reality hit us in the face when we started hiring account managers and staffing a sales team and putting management in place and hiring directors. Well, those salaries are not cheap. And had we retained our earnings, we would have had a much less stressful time in 2023 than we did had we not just siphoned all the cash for ourselves. And we would have built a lot more enterprise value for the business. So that's number one. Number two, not looking at your profit and loss statement. In Home Service Academy, we've helped over 1,500 plus house cleaning businesses. Within Home Service Academy, we have a mastermind and peer group for cleaning business owners called Accelerator. Me and Sergio are a lot more involved in the day-to-day with that. We actually host a call every single month called the Profit and Loss Call, where all the 50 plus Accelerator clients come in, they bring their profit and loss statements, and I look at them. And it's really, really funny and really interesting to see what they think the problem is in their business and what the problem actually is, because I have to look at the profit and loss statement for 3 minutes maybe, and I understand exactly what they need to work on and exactly what they've been doing wrong, because the numbers do not lie. And the amount of small business owners that don't look in their profit and loss statement and use that to base their decision making and strategy moving forward is ridiculous, because most of them don't do it. Some key things to look out for when you're looking at a profit and loss statement. Number one is what's called your gross margin. So your gross margin is everything left over after paying your cost of goods sold. In a service business, your cost of goods sold is going to be really just the labor typically. So in something like house cleaning, your COGS is what you paid your contractors, right? A healthy gross margin is gonna be around 50 to 60%, right? This all comes down to how well you control your costs or how well you pay your people, right? You wanna pay them well, but you don't wanna pay them too well because it's gonna hurt the business. When you look at your gross margin and you're running at that 50, 60, or even higher than that percentage, you're gonna have more margin for error as a business owner, and you're gonna be allowed to make more mistakes without it hurting your profitability as much, right? The higher that gross margin is, the less room you have to operate, the less money you have to advertise and get leads. So it all starts with the gross margin and how well you control that. Number two is gonna be looking at your costs as a percentage of your revenue. So as an example, marketing is one that's gonna stick out most of the time, at least from what I see. A good way to measure your efficiency of your marketing is how big of a percentage it takes up of your revenue on your profit and loss statement. So to make numbers simple, let's say you do $100,000 in a month, but you spent $30,000 on marketing. Well, that tells me that marketing was 30% of your P&L. which tells me that your marketing is inefficient. Even for a growth company, you should probably be keeping it at around 20%, 15, 10, or 5% is more in line with what I'd like to see in a company that's growing at a reasonable rate. Those are some things that are gonna stick out in P&L. I'm not gonna sit here and explain to you how exactly to break it down, but look at your numbers. If anything sticks out as a high percentage of your revenue, know that's something that you should probably fix. Number 3 is not measuring your CAC to LTV. So this is going to be your customer acquisition cost. Your customer acquisition cost encompasses your CPA, your cost per acquisition on your marketing, and then what you pay, typically what you pay your sales reps in commission or things like that. Then you have your LTV, your lifetime value. This is on average what a customer is worth to you. You want the customer acquisition cost to be as low as possible, and you want the LTV to be as high as possible, and that gap in between to be as high as possible, right? The closer it is together, the more unsustainable the business is. A good target is actually 6 to 1, but 3 to 1 is still pretty good. This is gonna tell you how effective your business is and how well it can actually grow and actually scale, right? So if you've got, let's say, $2,000 CAC with a $4,000 LTV, you're gonna run into problems because you're still gonna have to pay your staff to actually deliver on whatever that product or service is. And that's more in line with a break-even business. It's gonna be really, really hard to scale that. Whereas, say you have something where it's like, costs $10 to acquire and your LTV is $100, well, every $10 you put in, you know you're getting $100 back out. It's also important to know over how long that LTV is measured on is it gonna take to pay back the CAC. So let's say you pay $100 to acquire someone, how long is it gonna take as far as months or years to pay back that CAC? So you can actually calculate how much runway you need in your bank account in order to actually grow and scale your marketing. Fundamentally speaking, if you look at those 3 things and that's all you measure off of and don't overcomplicate it, that's really all you need to know if I had to boil it down to the basics. It's boring, it's very tactical, but not a lot of people talk about this. Everybody talks about, oh, you need the mindset, you need this, you need that, you need the productivity. You don't need any of that, you just need to look at the math. Just look at the numbers and then make decisions off the numbers. It's that simple. So, if you got value out of this video, I hope you did. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. And if you want to learn how to start and scale a business, specifically a house cleaning business, from start to actually growing it to $1 million, I made a full course video. It's 42 minutes long on everything you need to know. You're not going to find a better video than this. You can check it out right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.